for the 1700 mile podcast. Man, that's going to really mess us up whenever we actually meet.
I know.
Oh my
It'll.
God, we're just going to be the mile podcast.
Welcome to the 25-foot podcast where we're 25 feet apart.
Slap.
You ruined it.
Oh my gosh,
See,
but
that's the
Justin,
best part though. That'll be a good memory of how it started.
me slapping you?
No, the distance.
Oh, I was
God,
like, sure. Okay.
I don't really like where this is going anymore.
Okay, so you really want to know what grinds my hide? Are you ready?
I think you meant gears, but yes.
Oh my God. Okay. So I was going to work the other day and I recently found out that I have like a slight phobia of something. You want to know what it is?
What?
Oh my God. So, okay. Oh, oh my God. Oh, what's it called? Oh
Describe it to
no.
me. Describe it to me.
This is the second time today this has happened. Like my brain is not wanting to work.
We can do this. Describe it.
Oh no, you're gonna think I'm dumb.
No, just come on. Describe it. I'll help.
Okay. So you know when you're God, no, this is okay. So you know when you're driving your car
Mhm.
and you're just really wanting to get somewhere, but the light pole changers,
Yes.
what are those called?
The stoplights?
Stoplights. Oh my God. I have a slight phobia that the stoplight is gonna turn red when I'm about to go through it. Okay, and it's like the worst
It's gotta go
timing.
yellow. It's gotta go yellow first.
No, but okay, so I have to go through like 8 million stoplights now because I live so far away from the castle. So I'm sitting here, I'm like cranking up my music and I'm having a great life. Like I see the light the stoplight and it's ahead of me and I'm like, "Oh my God, do I need to slow down or do I need to speed up?" It's been green for a really really long time. It's like a suspicious amount of time it's been green. I'm like, "I know it's going to change." And then my heart starts pounding. It's like the heart palpitations start getting a little bit faster as I'm getting closer and I'm starting to shake a little bit and my good happy times are kind of like coming to a close as the song ends.
The music's like speeding up.
Yeah, and I'm like sweating. I'm like kind of sweating a little bit. And here's what happens. The light always changes on me, but at the worst, most awkward times. So it goes yellow as I'm almost going through it, but I'm like I'm gonna run the red light. So what I've been doing is I've been trying not to slam on the brakes, but I make sure no one's behind me because of course, and then I hit the brakes, and then I go like way across the line, but I don't like actually run the red light. So then I'm like beep beep beep.
Backing up.
Yeah, I'm like backing up. And then the entire time I'm looking at the person next to me. And then I put my hands to my temple and I go, and I mouth out the word, wow. Well, welcome to the podcast. So my friend Justin here,
Yeah.
he has, yeah. Justin here, he has some
That's
mad
me.
beats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go Justin, we love you.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Sitting across from me is Desiree. We're 1700 Mile Podcast. That's right. We finally have a name.
Go.
Alright.
Go.
So
That was
welcome.
awesome.
Welcome. This is our first official podcast now that we actually have a name and a direction that we're going in.
I love it.
Yeah, everything's gotten started. We now have an Instagram. We now have a Twitter, which no one has followed except for shout out to one of my best friends, Lindsay in Houston, who is our first and only official follower at this point in time.
We stan Lindsay on our podcast.
We do. Yeah, she's going to be our first guest because of that. So
Ooh.
for shame, everyone.
I'm so supportive of that. We love Lindsay.
So we'll be reaching out. So all right, we're gonna go ahead and get this started with some unfortunate and embarrassing stories.
Ooh. All right. Do you want me to ask the questions or do you want to ask the questions?
Were you gonna tell your slip, trip, and fall story first? or you want to go with the questions first?
Ooh, let's do questions first. I got a question for you.
Okay,
Oh my gosh, are you ready?
I think.
How did you, Justin, my friend Justin,
Dang.
how did you become a huge nerd? How did you become a weeb? I really want to know.
Right. So that is definitely a long answer. So definitely, ever since I was a little kid, and by I say little kid, I mean like when I was like 5 years old, I got my first Super Nintendo. So
Oh, you were a fetus.
I was a little baby, little fetus playing Super Nintendo in the country.
I love
Uh,
it.
I was raised on violent games like Mortal Kombat and Fatalities. So I pretty much, yeah, I was a gamer from an early age, but that's pretty much where it stopped. I never really got into like comic books or stuff like that. I mean, I liked a few things like X-Men and like Spider-Man, but I was never like a true nerd. Because I mean, I grew up in rural northeast rural with an R, Northeast Louisiana, where there's not a lot of nerdy people, and especially back then, because like as we has mentioned before, it was a lot more taboo. So yeah, I didn't really have any friends, and the few friends I even had, they didn't really game. They were more into like riding four wheelers and like hunting and fishing and stuff. So growing up, yeah, that kind of wasn't a thing. Literally, the only thing I ever watched growing up that was weeby was like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, which at the time, like, I didn't even know that that was anime because it just came on Cartoon Network, so I thought it was just like any other cartoon. I don't want to pick on anyone here, and I don't want to hate on any fandoms, but as I was,
Ooh, that's dangerous.
should I stop right there?
You know what? No, we're dangerous. We're dangerous. Keep on going.
I'm looking at the line. I'm not gonna cross it, but I am gonna do a little taparoo on it. I'm gonna do a little tap
Okay.
dance on it. So the only kids that I knew that did watch anime were different. By different,
Were they the Naruto runners?
so you literally took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so they watched Naruto. They ran like Naruto. They hid behind trash cans and would jump out and hiss at people like cats. They were peculiar people. So, unfortunately, that is what I assumed that weebs and anime were. I thought it was all Naruto. I thought it was weird Japanese stuff. It put a really bad taste in my mouth because I was very closed-minded and uneducated. Now, this continued all the way through high school. It had a really negative stigma about it because I again was in a redneck school. No one really that I knew really watched it except for those people. Um, so fast forward to when I was like 22. Same thing. I still had a very negative stigma about it, but I had met another friend that was like a full-on weeb, like wall scrolls everywhere, body pillows, like you name it. And they were proud. They let their freak flag fly, and even though I cringed, I respected it. I had just went through a really bad breakup at the time, and like I was super bummed out, and I didn't really, know what to do. I was just real sad and depressed. And this person was like, "Come with me to Akon." I'm like, "What the hell is Akon? Like the rapper?" He's like, "No, like it's convention." I was like, "What's a convention?" So they started like explaining all this stuff to me, and I was like, no, that anime stuff, like, no, that stuff's weird. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, to each his own, but that's just not really my thing. And he's like, you literally are going to sit home and be sad and do nothing. I'm already in Dallas. Come on. So literally on like a 3 hour notice, like I went home, took a nap, got my stuff, and off to Dallas I went to my first convention. I had no idea what I was in for.
Baby's first convention.
Baby's first convention. So I showed up on Saturday because I had missed Friday at this point, which is the busiest day. And like I said, I knew nothing of anime other than the negative, basically, ideals that I already had in my head. So I'm walking around the convention, but so like I'm walking around, I'm going like through Artist Alley, and I'm like, all right, this stuff's actually oh, that's really good. That's really cool. It's like I'm seeing all this like cool stuff. I see all these like really cool cosplays of God knows what they were at this point in time, but just stuff that I could tell that people had made that I thought looked really cool. And then every now and then it'd be like, oh shit, Vegeta, something I recognize. Not Sailor Moon, the couple things that I recognize. And then I did start to see the like Disney characters and like Game of Thrones and other stuff that I actually knew in pop culture. So I was like, all right, this is really kind of cool. So like probably about like lunchtime that day, I was like, this is actually really fun. I kind of, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what half this stuff is, but it's actually really fun. And then my friend was slowly working on me. He's like, all right, when we get back home, you're gonna get an anime. And I was like, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. Just yeah, we're not gonna do that. It's cool and all, but no. He's like, come on, and I still kind of shut it down. Still had fun the rest of the convention. Went back Sunday. It's like a short day, half day or whatever. Whatever, went back home. Like a week later, we're hanging out and we're still playing video games. He's like, come on, we're gonna watch anime. And I was like, I don't want to. He's like, look, you had a lot of fun. Admit it. I was like, I did. He's like, look, just give it a chance. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'll give up. But if you like it, you'll watch more, and then we're gonna go back to Acon, and you're gonna cosplay. And I was like, oh no, I'm not cosplaying.
Too far, too far.
Pretty
Too
much.
soon.
I was like, I can't do that. So my friend had me watch Gurren Lagann. That was my first anime ever to watch. They were very selective with the anime because they knew that it was make or break. If it was bad, I was going to assume it was all Naruto, and that was it. That was going to be case closed. So they picked Gurren Lagann. First episode, I was like, I mean, okay, like, I mean, I get it. I don't hate it. Watch the second episode, it's kind of feeling the same thing. Fast forward to like episode 5, I was like, I mean, okay, I'm starting to kind of get into it. And then next thing I know, like I'm halfway through the series, I was like, all right, I do enjoy this one, but we need to be very selective again with what I watch next. Is like, well, you like comedy stuff, so then they had me watch Heaven's Lost Property, which is really funny anime, and then turn around and then watch Baka and Test. At this point, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of liking where this is going, and then it took off. Literally, my friend like gave me a list of like their like because they pretty much knew me, of like their like hand selected anime. So literally over the span of pretty much that next probably like 10 months, I probably crammed like a couple years worth of an average person's anime all in one. And so it's getting around time for convention again. And they're like, all right, come on, let's cosplay. And I was still like, I don't know. And they're like, look, it makes it that much more fun. Pretty much they sold me on it. At the time, if you had seen my old photos, this was back when I shaved my head. So like I never had any hair, and I didn't really want to wear a wig. So we were trying to like pick like certain characters that I could cosplay without having to do anything extreme. Well, I let them pick the cosplay because I was still very inexperienced, and we decided on Kill la Kill, which was
That's
an
a
anime.
good one.
Yeah, I loved that anime, and I was like, I really like this Gamagori character, and I was like, I think I want to cosplay him. I think I fit that character well. So I went with Gamagori and ordered the cosplay and everything offline. Sorry, people who hate. I'm not very artistic, so therefore I can't sew and craft my own cosplays.
I'm gonna say something really fast, okay? I hate that stigma that you can only make your cosplay because I do a little bit of both. I can make an entire outfit purely through scratch. I can't spend my entire life on just crafting, so it's really okay to do like a little bit of crafting and a little bit of buying online. Or if you just don't know how to craft, buy it online. Who cares? Anyways.
That's the thing. I mean, even my mother and grandmother couldn't sew me a costume. So I mean,
Yeah, that's hard work.
it's kind of how it was. But so on a whim, I was like, well, Gamagori's got kind of long blonde hair. I don't really want to wear a wig. I'm gonna grow my hair out and I'm gonna bleach it. and after I ruin it, I'm just gonna shave it right off and just start right back over because I don't plan on having hair, so it's perfect. And my friend at the time also was like, I respect that. I'm gonna do the same. So I don't want to mispronounce their name, but I know their first name was like Uzu Sagayama or something. The blue-haired guy, the other.
Oh yeah.
Their 3-star Goku uniform user.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to make their hair blue. So as I bleached mine like slim shady yellow and got a lot of crap for it. A lot of people made fun of me for that, by the way. My friend also had to make theirs completely like white at first, and then make it like completely blue. And in the process, it ruined their hair to where it
Yep.
looked like hair on like a on one of those little like troll dolls.
Oh my God.
So fast forward to the
Oh.
convention, had an absolute blast. My friend was completely right. Cosplay was so much fun for me, and it was so like weird, like me being stopped to like take photos. Like people were like asking me for a photo. I'm like looking around like, me? Talking to me?
Oh.
So like it was just, it did make the convention so much more fun. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh my God, we got to do this again. So then I was like,
Instant addiction.
exact instant addiction. And then funny story, after that everyone had told me that I looked a lot better with hair. So uh, I kind of had a problem because
Oh
I had
no.
bleached hair, and I got my sister to try and help me dye it back at home.
Oh
And
no.
the first day it kind of looked kind of normal, and then the next day it started to kind of like turn red, like in
Yep.
splotches. So I kind of
Yep.
like a patterned cheetah. So I
Mhm.
spent the next few months like getting little haircuts here and there, trying to get the rest of the color out of my hair. But it was
Oh.
good. I kept the hair and everything worked out fine. And then, like I said, that next year, I probably doubled the anime that I'd watched, and that trend just continued. And then I just started cosplaying more and more and more, and it just became honestly one of my main hobbies. Like, where to me, it was video games and cosplay hand to hand. And to this day, I mean, I have crammed so much anime in like a 6 year time period of friends. We'll compare our my anime list or whatever, and I'll be like on their level when they have been like lifelong anime fans. Like I took off.
It's funny. I feel like you can really get to know a person by what anime they watch.
You can definitely see what genres they like, and same thing, like the people that like those, it's like you just click with those people, and I don't know if it's like the fandom or what, or just like the certain type of person that's drawn to that anime. And that's another thing. I almost feel like I need to go back and apologize to people that I may have thought negatively about because of the cosplay thing, because I was wrong. I was dead wrong.
It's kind of funny you say that because you were talking about like the Naruto runners. If me and you were to go back in that time period, would be like, ah, yeah, my crew.
That's a thing. Like I have changed so much, and I'm not like closed minded anymore. It's like I have met some of the most incredible, amazing, most genuine, awesome, fun people to be around at conventions and through anime and through
Mhm.
cosplay, and even like how like even we met. I've met some genuinely cool people. We may not be best friends, but I've made some really awesome people online just through cosplay. Like that's such an awesome thing.
Well, it's really nice to hear you talk about cosplay coming from, I don't want to be like you were normal, but like coming from like
Oh no,
someone
no,
who wasn't.
people have totally ragged on me. They're like, you were a normie. I
Oh,
was.
okay. Yeah, I didn't want to use that word, but now that we're established.
No, no,
So
I was
coming.
totally a normie. I was the guy who played sports, and I was
Mhm.
a normie. I was just a in the closet video game nerd.
Right. So coming from someone who was more normal and seeing kind of like the normal bird eyes view on cosplay and like the convention center, it's kind of like interesting to kind of take a little peep in your brain. And it's nice to see that shift with, oh, this was really weird, to this is really, really freaking fun, and I totally understand why people are doing it, and now I'm addicted. So when I was in college, someone made a Facebook group page, and
Oh no.
in the Facebook group page was Naruto running around UTM. And everyone's like, "We're meeting at 11 a.m. We're gonna Naruto run around the college. If you want to be there, be there. If not, we're gonna still do it."
But see, that's like the most funny thing to me now is like now like I would go Naruto run because I'm a weeb, like I would do that now because my eyes have been opened. I'm a changed man.
I'm a changed man.
Like now, like I'm all for that weeb stuff. Whereas back then, I wasn't, and I kind of did myself a discredit. I'm kind of mad that my school didn't have, more weebs. Why didn't we have an anime club?
Well, here's the thing. Everyone's secretly a nerd, but everyone was so afraid of what everyone else would think. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally normal."
I don't know. Now it's just so much more like accepted, and
Yeah.
it's kind of becoming the cool thing now.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad because then now like you can meet more people and it's becoming more accepted. So now we don't have to like fear going to a con, walking to the hotel, and someone being like, "Nerds."
Oh man, that reminds me. Whenever Akon went to Fort Worth for a little bit, the city of Fort Worth thought it was going to be real cool to jack up the prices on the parking.
Of
Well,
course.
this cheapskate wasn't going to have it. so I ended up walking like a mile down the road in cosplay, and it was to the point where we were so far away from the convention, there were people eating at like fancy restaurants, like in outdoor seating, like getting out of their Mercedes, like, oh, my Mercedes, and like these freaks are walking down the street in cosplay, and like they're like literally like mid sentence, like stop with like the fork in midair, like looking at us, like walking by.
Oh, that's the best part of the con though, is going to like a McDonald's and like full cosplay.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that same weekend there was some big like business convention that had like a
Oh,
double in one of the
always.
hotels. It was
Always.
so the same
Nice.
question to you.
Oh.
How and when did you become the web?
Oh boy, Justin, that's a loaded question.
We got time.
Okay. So when I was younger, my parents got my sister, not me, they got my sister a Nintendo 64. And they got us games like Mario Kart, which if my sister felt like gracious enough for me to play, I could play. Um, we also got games like Rampage, which I used to play with my cousins
Oh,
and stuff. Oh yeah, Rampage was the schnoz. Like we really love that game. And we got Banjo Kazooie, but because it was my sister's game, I didn't get to play it as much. Well, I guess at that time I wouldn't really consider myself a gamer or a nerd because I was so young. I didn't really know what any of that was. I don't really know when I got into anime. I think it was when I was in 5th grade, and I started watching Inuyasha. Ooh, loved me some Inuyasha, and I wanted to date a guy just like Inuyasha. I mean, I was like all about it.
I missed some of the golden era because of my stupid
Oh,
ways, but I have since gone back and watched like Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that. But I definitely missed out in the moment.
oh man, it was something. So how I got heavily into video games, my sister kind of didn't play the Nintendo as much anymore, so I started slowly picking it up. I just remember getting this VHS tape in the mail. This VHS tape came from Nintendo, and it was a tape for some reason I would religiously watch. It was like a 10-minute commercial talking about Banjo Tooie and The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Awesome. I did
And
not know that was a thing.
it was. I still have it somewhere. And they I don't know how I got it. I don't know how my parents got it, but they were like, "Here you go." And I at first was really really scared of in Majora's Mask the falling moon because of the face. It really really frightened me. But the thing that got me going and why I played that game and begged my parents for that game was because there was a horse. I fell in love with Epona before I even know who she was.
Oh,
I
that's
knew
great.
Epona's song in my sleep before I even played the games. I started renting Majora's Mask, but my problem was this was Blockbuster at the time, and
Oh,
those of you youngsters who don't know what Blockbuster is, it's basically a store where you go and rent things for like 2 days.
I was gonna say I don't even remember the limit. Like there was like a two or three on one of them. I think the max was like what, like five or something. Like if you had like
Yeah.
the fancy pass.
So I could only play that game for like a couple days at a time, but there was a reason. Oh, it was because it was a Blockbuster game. So every single time I would go and get the game, my data would be erased.
Oh,
So yeah, so I replayed the intro of that game like 10 or 20 times because I loved it so much and I wanted to get to Epona. That's all I wanted, and I couldn't
oh,
get there. I have a very heavy case of dyslexia. When I was younger, I really, really struggled with that in reading in general and numbers, and my brain just wasn't working correctly. And it got to the point where I actually had to be held back a grade, and that's kind of a funny story in itself because I told all my friends I was moving away. And I didn't realize that we would still be in the same school So whenever no, it gets so bad. So I had to get held back from the first grade to or the second grade to the first grade. So when we pass each other in the hallway, I would like duck my head like in shame.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, and I was walking with all the other first graders, and all my second grade grader friends were like, "Didn't she move?"
Oh my, I
Um,
had no idea.
Yeah, no, I it was so bad. And that's why like when people like call me stupid or like dumb growing up, I would like actually take that to heart because I had to get pulled out of my
Oh,
classes. Yeah, I had to get pulled out of my classes to take these like special dyslexia classes. And it was so embarrassing because the teacher would come to the door, knock on the door, and then she would point at me and then
I
and
know
I'd
what
be
you're
like,
talking about. You didn't do the walk of shame.
yeah, I did. And I sat in the back row of the class. Oh my God.
Like
That scarred me.
it's not funny except for the fact that you try to act like you're a secret agent. And you're like, sayonara, I'm leaving.
I told everyone I was moving.
That's the
Um,
only funny part of that story.
yeah, so with Majora's Mask, there's no voice acting in it. It's just a whole bunch of just, text boxes and stuff. So I didn't know how to read at all until I started playing that game. And I completely credit that game for teaching me how to read. However, because I didn't know how to read, maybe this is the reason why I can't pronounce anything right because it's so embedded in my head as a kid to just whatever word I think it is, that's what it is. So the Deku tree was the Dooku tree. Kokiri forest was the Kukurai forest. But it was stuff like that. So I would make up my own words because, there are these really hard words to say, like sometimes Japanese words, and I'd be like, this is what it is. So I ran around swinging a lot of Dooku sticks. Yeah, and I would say at that point on, that's when I started becoming a mega nerd. But I didn't know it was nerdy. I literally just thought that this was life. This is the time everyone was living the life I was living. Everyone was going around being like a fifth grader, screaming Epona song at the top of their lungs as you're walking through the school. Everyone did that. Oh, I also thought I was Hermione at one point. There was a solid month of my life in the fourth grade where I would speak in a British accent because I
Oh.
thought I was Hermione and I didn't brush my hair. I'd be like, what,
Oh my
I
God,
don't,
no.
yeah, no, I didn't. It's not, Wingardium Leviosa. It's the Wingardium Leviosa. I didn't realize that I was nerdy and I guess like different. Um, until I went to because I had gone to church. I was really heavily into church in like the seventh grade, all the way through senior year of high school.
Yeah, you got some
So
good stories about that for one day as well.
I definitely do. Oh my God, I definitely do. But I didn't realize I was different because me and my best friend, which I had gotten my best friend into a lot of this nerdy stuff too. So me and her were like always talking about Final Fantasy and like Praise Yevon and like, all this stuff. And we were at a retreat and it was called Disciple Now, where you would go to like a hostess house and you would do like Bible studies and stuff. And then they'd be like, "Oh, does anyone have a cool joke?" And then I'd be like, "I do." And I would talk about I just so shamelessly talked about chocobos. I was like, yeah. And then this one time, this chocobo, like there was a chocobo race, and then Titus totally won. But if you don't do this thing right, then you'll totally lose. I don't know.
I
And
just
then
I just picture all these old ladies like smiling and like nodding and having no clue what you're talking about.
no, it was worse. It was people my age, and I totally understand like why they thought we were weird. I totally understand it, but I didn't understand at the time why why like why I could understand their jokes and why I could laugh at their jokes, but when I would say a joke that I thought was funny, everyone would just stare at me. And I
Oh.
now growing up, I totally get it. Like I have no ill will, but I just was so confused by that. So, and I probably sounded like a major dork. Like I'm just gonna throw that out there. I mean, who goes to school being like praise Yevon, you know, especially like in the South and stuff like that. I think at that moment I had realized that I needed to keep this a secret. I would only tell a few select people about my nerdiness, and I had to feel like super safe with them. But if I felt like you have crossed the threshold, I would be singing in Japanese, probably very bad Japanese. I would be like talking about Kingdom Hearts and like, oh my God, the best compliment someone had ever gave to me ever was they said I look like a cross between Kyrie and Yuna, and I about lost my actual shit.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
God.
thank you so much. uh 2012 was when I got into cosplay and I went to my first convention and I went as Kyrie, I believe. But my Kyrie was so, oh my God. So I was like kind of thick back then. And I was wearing my best friend, who is very slim. I was wearing her Kyrie dress that she ordered online. So like I was filling that dress out in all the wrong places. But I still, I was still like, I felt like Kyrie. I felt like a character that I really loved. And that was amazing for me. Even though the wig was too short and too spiky, I wasn't wearing the right shoes. They weren't even shoes. I was supposed to be wearing like high tops and I was wearing like high-heeled boots, black boots. Um and I was wearing the wrong necklace. I didn't have contacts. My makeup was terrible, but I was Kyrie. And people were like walking down the hallway calling me Kyrie and wanting my picture, and I just could not believe how pretty I had felt because I don't know, it was such a new experience for me. I will say, like, cosplay has both boosted my confidence while at the same time tearing it down. But that's kind of the story of how I became a nerd. I was a pretty closeted nerd until about college. I don't know. I just stopped caring what people think, and I just started sharing all this stuff on Facebook. And now people on my Facebook are like, "We love your cosplays," and I'm like, "I'm glad." So that's how I became a nerd, a weeb.
I'm actually looking back because I was curious. I went to my first con in 2014, so not too far behind you actually.
No, not at all. Wow. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, two very different journeys, but they ended up at the same path.
Hey, I have a question.
Absolutely,
Oh my gosh, are you ready?
might be. When you
Where
when
do you
you
think
phrase it like that.
you're in trouble? You're in danger.
Oh.
Where do you think you'd be right now if you had never gotten into cosplay or nerdy stuff in general?
Hmm,
Ooh, good one.
that that is a good one because that
Hmm.
that has really taken on a lot of my hobbies, a lot of my enjoyment, a lot of people I've met. That's really tough to say.
It's
Uh,
loaded, right?
I would definitely still be a gamer. I I really don't know what else I would have got into. I mean, like before I got into anime, I mean, I guess I watched a lot more like normal people, TV shows and like movies. So I guess I would probably be more boring than than I already am now.
Oh, you're
Uh,
not boring.
well, by normal people standards.
Oh, I see. Oh, then yeah, you're very boring. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
And
I'm just kidding.
so I also honestly like it sounds kind of depressing to say, but I probably wouldn't have any friends. Because all the friends I have now are pretty much, weebs and like cosplayers. Anyone that I still have direct
Oh.
contact with now that are what I legitimately consider friends, there's really only one or two that are not. Everyone else, they moved on with their lives, got married, moved whatever, lost touch, whatever. But for the most part, most of my friends, like I said, with the exception of one or two, have been weebs. So I would have really missed out on meeting a lot of really awesome friends. I mean, that I have back home in Louisiana, that I have in Texas,
Mm.
that now I have 1,700 miles away.
Oh, that's me. That's me.
That's you. That's Dreamer, the one and only Dreamer. So yeah, everything would just be a lot different. It's weird to think about. Like
Oh,
I never thought about
Justin
it until you pointed it out.
cares.
I do care. Like I said, I've met a lot of really great people and just had a lot of really good times, fond memories. Great photos.
Great photos. I do like looking back on, well, I say I like looking back on old photos, but because I'm so hard on myself with the way that I looked at the time, going back and like looking at my old self, because we were talking about like a certain con the other day, and I was like, oh, or today, I was like, oh, I went to that con. And I was like trying to show you a picture to prove that I was there, but I voted not to because I was like, oh my God, I cannot look at those pictures.
Oh,
Yeah, it's still a struggle for me, but yeah, so that's interesting. Oh, Justin, you care.
I do care, definitely. I wish it wasn't such an expensive hobby.
That's the problem. Yeah, it definitely is.
I need to work for a Holiday Inn or a travel company so I can get discounts so I can go to more cons.
Oh my God, did you just crack the Da Vinci Code? That's
I
all you have
really,
to do?
I think I did. I think if you got the hookup for like an airline or a hotel chain to get
Ooh, it'd be going
discount or free
down.
rooms, absolutely. Like that's it. Just pick a
Um,
major chain and roll with it. I've had that thought before. Like that's not my first time. That's a good plan.
hey, can you get me tickets whenever you go through this?
That's a thing. Someone can either confirm or help me, but I have often heard that anyone in your direct family, which they don't really prove it, you can also get them discounts for things if you work at said chain.
That's amazing.
So anybody out there, you want to sponsor this podcast, you can get your name on air. On air.
I was gonna be like, you can even be a guest if you want to.
VIP status. Welcome to the podcast.
Papa Podcast. That was my question. Now it's your turn.
Can I ask my favorite one at the moment about the best, the worst, or the funniest experience you ever had on a road trip or a vacation to somewhere?
Yes, you can. Let's see. Do you want me? Okay, so you already know these stories I'm going to tell you, but okay, what do you think would be better for the podcast? My best vacation story or my worst vacation story?
Which one do you feel is more entertaining? Because even if I know the stories, the audience hasn't. Now, mine is going to be the worst, which also is the funniest, if that helps your choice.
So maybe I'll go with the best.
Okay.
Okay. So every single year in Tennessee, me and my friends would go to Gatlinburg to rent a cabin, and it was very beautiful. And if you guys ever visit Tennessee, do that. Please do yourself a favor and do that because it's beautiful and you guys are going to love it. Just don't lock yourselves out of the cabin because I did that with my friend Chantel. And we were stranded for like 7 hours. Don't do that. Anyways, so every single day we would go into like the Walmart and we would go grab food. And the first day we were there, we had gone and grabbed like sushi, and there was a sushi guy there, and we talked to him, and he was kind of cool or whatever, and we were like, cool, sushi guy's like awesome, like we're chilling with him, and it was like that for the entire week until our vacation was almost over, and we went back there, and he was like, hey, are you guys going to be back tomorrow? We were like, no, we're leaving tomorrow. He's like, okay, we'll come back. I have something for you. We were like, yeah, something for us. So that's kind of weird. And then, so we proceeded. We proceeded to go back the next day. There in the little like sushi section, there was a little heart-shaped box of sushi, and it was for me. So me and sushi guy, we had something special, but he wasn't there. He wasn't working that day.
He left you waiting with sushi.
He left me waiting. And my friend Chantel, she's always like, that could have been a love story, but he ruined it. So me and sushi guy did not work out, but you know what? There's bigger and better things on the horizon for me.
Sushi guy, wherever you are, we thank you.
Yeah, we thank you, but you messed up.
You done goofed and missed out.
You done goofed. All right, so what is your worst vacation story, Justin? Go.
So my worst vacation story. Also, looking back on it now is really funny, but at the time it was not funny at all. So I had convinced a friend to go with me on a spur of the moment trip to Colorado. We were literally sitting at my parents' house. I'd always wanted to go to Colorado. I just romanticized Colorado because of the mountains, and I always wanted to go skiing. So they literally be like, okay, yeah, I'll go with you. I'm like, wait, what? You serious? They're like, yeah. So literally like the next day, I'm like planning a trip to Colorado, and like 2 days later, we're literally driving from Louisiana to Colorado, and that's like if you just Google Map that, that's like an 18 or 19 hour drive. So you actually factor in stops and everything else. That's a long way. Um, so I was talking about skiing with this person, and like, oh yeah, I've been skiing. I went skiing, and I don't even like Silverthorne or somewhere in Colorado. But they had convinced me that they knew how to ski. They were going to teach me how to ski. We didn't need an instructor. Like, life was going to be peachy. It was going to be good times to be had. So, that's a long car ride, and you got to choose your company carefully on a car ride. I also found out that's a long way to go.
Ooh.
In fact, before we even made it to Dallas, I was kind of like, why don't you go and take a nap? You look tired.
Wait, did you guys at least play like card games?
I don't remember. That was a long way up there.
Oh my God, no card games. That's so boring.
I mean, we talked and like did other stuff, but like Amarillo, Texas is about the halfway point, so about 9.5 to 10 hours in.
Yeah.
Why don't you gasp? Do you have a story about Amarillo?
No, I love Amarillo.
Oh, I
I've
didn't
been
know.
there before. Yeah, I went to the Court Horse Museum because I love horses.
I passed by that. It's crazy you say
Ah!
that. I always kind of wanted to stop, even though I'm not nearly a horse fan as
Oh
you are,
my
but like I would like to
gosh!
go. That needs to go on our bucket list one day.
Stop being perfect. That's so cool.
Well, because
It's
we
really
stopped.
good.
Oh well, I want to go, but we stopped at Cadillac Ranch, which is the thing with the
I've
cars.
been there. Oh
Oh,
my gosh, Justin, I literally have been there. That was on the same trip. We went to the Cadillac Ranch. I have pictures. I was so young.
I
I was
have
a
pictures.
fetus.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
We're totally
Anyways.
one day we're gonna go to Amarillo.
Yeah, and we're gonna play card games.
But so this trip to Amarillo wasn't as much fun because I was
Sorry.
already annoyed by the time I got there. And we still had like 10 more hours of fun.
Oh jeez. What?
So yeah, the same thing. This whole ride there, I was convinced I was in good hands. So we finally get there through a little bit of hassle along the way, and we go to Copper Mountain, which is in Frisco, Colorado. And same thing, like we're literally on the premises. Not a word has been said. We're going through the ski shop, renting our stuff. I'm getting ready and I'm excited. I know right where we're going. We got to go to the little bunny slopes because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm renting the stuff, and the guys, explain the procedures or whatever. He's like, all right, bunny slopes over here. Do you two need a ski instructor? I was like, nah, they know what they're doing. Like they're gonna teach me. And he looks at them. I look at my friend. I look back at him. I look back at my friend. She just kind of smiles like nonchalantly. I'm like, yeah, we're good. We got this. So we're out there. I'm all geared up. I get on the little mini ramp thing that drags you up to the top of the little bunny slope, which is I don't even know the best way to describe this. It's basically like getting on like a flat escalator, kind of like what you see at like an airport where you just stand on it and it just carries you. Because the bunny slope is such a small incline. I mean, it's pretty much designed for kids.
Yeah.
So it's literally me, my friend, a kid that's probably like the height of like maybe my waist. That's probably like and like his mom are out there. Everyone else is actually up on the mountain. So I look at my friend. I'm like, all right, I am ready. Teach me. And with the most serious face, she just looks at me and goes, what? And then in my head, I'm like, I know I just misheard that. I know my brain didn't hear what I think it just heard. So I'm still smiling. I'm like, yeah, you gonna show me how to ski? Well, I never said I could teach you. I said,
Oh my god.
what do you mean you never said? What are you talking about? She's like, no, I never said I could teach you. I said I've been skiing before. I didn't say that I could teach people to ski. I said, see, I'm gonna edit my my language because I definitely am not calm at this point. So you flipping mean to tell me that we just drove like 1,200 miles this whole time? I was under the impression that you were gonna teach me how to ski. I looked at you dead in the face in the ski shop when he asked if we needed an instructor, and you didn't speak up. And now that we're up here on top of the bunny slope, you're gonna tell me you don't know how to ski. And they just kind of looked nervous, and I was like, "You're an idiot."
I would have been like, yeah.
I was like, "Why didn't you say something? Oh my god!" And this little toddler is going down the mountain at 1 mile per hour, and I'm looking at his mom, and she's looking at me like, "What a dick."
Here's the thing. Okay, so me and Justin were talking, and if me and him were to ever get into an argument, we're literally going to bring Bubbles along with us because, to end an argument by whoo,
Yeah, just SpongeBob and Patrick. We're just gonna blow just magical bubbles in our face, and that way we just can't be mad.
It's a giraffe.
Oh my god, that was a well-timed joke.
Oh, thank you.
I was mad. I was really mad. I was like, whatever, just explain the basics. Come on. So after about 2 hours, I was already better than she was, and yeah, so it worked out fine. But man, in that moment, when I was already like, my feet are locked into these
You were
skis,
heated.
I was ready to throw them sticks down.
That's so funny. I like how like that's the best retribution though, being better. You're like,
Yeah, like literally within like 2 hours, like I'm like starting to like get confident. We actually ride the lift up to go up to like a bigger part of the mountain, and like she fell down a couple times, and I was like, hey, in your face. And
literally.
Then, yeah, I mean pretty much. And then like there's like restaurants and stuff on the mountain, and like we went to eat and stuff, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to go again. And she's like, I don't really want to ski anymore. And I was just like, come on.
I can see her being like, this isn't fun anymore.
That's pretty much what happened. But yeah, so looking back on it, it's really funny now, but not then. But I do want to go skiing again.
Ooh, take me, and I can teach you how to ski.
You know what? That'll be an interesting podcast. We're gonna record that one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I totally know how to ski, and I can teach you.
That's literally the false sense of security that I had driving 1,200 miles up there.
Good.
You want to talk about bamboozled? I was the boozled.
You were the boozled. I'm like thinking I might want to tell my bad vacation story.
But by all means, there's
all right.
No restrictions here. There's no rules. Go for it.
Okay, so my bad vacation story is gonna be a sad podcast tonight.
Well, I like how my bad one like encouraged you to come forth with your bad one.
Yeah, it's been on my heart. It's been heavy on my chest. Oh, that was a good joke. That's a good segue into it. So, I was on the beach one time with my friends and the boyfriend I was dating at the time. And it's probably going to be your typical beach story, but it's different because I'm telling it.
It's like the beach episode of the anime.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Everything yeah, exactly. So we all got into the water, and it was just after a storm. So the water was freaking crazy. It was wild, man. And I mean, I'm small. I am SMOLE, small. The waves are like going up over my head, and I'm trying to I'm trying to catch my breath and stuff like this. And my mom's going to be like, oh my God, don't be in the ocean ever again after she hears this podcast.
Ocean scary.
Mom, I'm still alive. I just want to let you know. Anyways.
Did you die?
But did I die?
It's okay. We'll just edit this part out.
No, I'm keeping it in. So what happens is the boyfriend I was dating at the time, he turns his back and he's walking like more into the ocean, and I'm struggling trying to keep my head above the water. My two other friends who were guys were like, sticking with me, and then I, like a majestic freaking eagle, like rise like a phoenix out of the water, arms outstretched above my head, and I was just like, my face was facing the sky, and I shouted, I'm alive. And I said, I'm alive, and I didn't drown, and I was like, look at me now. And I looked at my friends, my arms still in the air, okay? And then they go, oh my God. And they're like trying to shield their eyes. And I'm like, what? I kind of looked down, and of course, there goes my bikini top, like going into the ocean, riding the waves like that bikini was. I mean, living her best life down there. And I like sank into the ocean, and I was like, what do I do? And so I like waddled to go after my bikini top. I put it back on, and then like the guy I was dating at the time, he comes back and he was like, what happened? And they like told him, and he was like, and I missed it. I didn't tell Justin this part. We had built the sandcastle with a moat around it, and I cried in the sandcastle for about 2 hours. I was really embarrassed.
That actually happens a lot. I mean, more so like if you're into like river sports, because I mean, I've definitely went out with people on like boats and like you go tubing and stuff like that, and yeah, something about water and swimsuits just they just don't really mix.
No, I'm telling you, like the next time I go, like anything in the water or the water is like beating me into the ground, I'm wearing a one piece. I don't care how unflattering they look on me. That one piece is going on my body. I panicked so much, I think my brain thought I died.
Like the white outline, like your soul, like you heard like the dunk dunk.
My soul ascending to heaven. Ah! Well, okay, so we've been talking for almost an hour now. Holy moly.
Well,
No, this is great. We didn't even talk about everything we wanted to. We filled in an hour. We were worried about that.
yeah. Well, so should we even try to touch on the guilty pleasures topic, or should we just save that for another one and kind of wrap this up?
Let's save that for another day, because I feel like that's going to be a really fun topic for us to talk about. One thing I do want to do though is a song a day keeps the depression away. Let's recommend some music.
We had this idea. Um, Desi is going to try to set up a Spotify list, and each week
Woo!
we're going to try to give a song recommendation, different from one another, because we like some of the same stuff, but also our stuff is extremely different. So you can get two very different perspectives of music, and whatever song we mention during the podcast, we're going to try to put on Spotify. So after the podcast, if you want to hear the songs that we have discussed, you can then get on to the Spotify list and hear them.
Yeah, and we're gonna just add on to them every single week. So right now, whenever I get the Spotify set up, there's only gonna be 2 songs on there. But don't worry, we're gonna have an explosive amount of songs very soon. Also, Justin, I want to let you know that I've been like obsessively listening to Savage Garden's "I Want You." So I just want to let you know, thank you for that.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
did not expect that.
yeah. No, I love that song. So thank you.
I mean, should do you want that to be your first recommendation, or should that be my first recommendation?
Oh, I didn't think of. Oh, poop! I didn't think about that.
I mean, that can be a bonus track.
Yeah, that's a bonus track. Oh, there's gonna be 3 tracks. Oh my
I
gosh,
mean,
Justin,
for all
we're
you
doing it.
weebs out there, not only was that a '90s classic, that is also the outro song for JoJo Part 4. Do you want to talk about what genres of music you even like, so people can have an idea of maybe what to even like look forward to?
Ooh, okay. So I listen. Okay, this is the most generic. Like I listen to everything, but I
So
don't listen.
basic.
I kinda. So like I don't have like specific bands that I really like. I think the only person I do listen to like religiously is probably like Billie Eilish. I really do like her music. And I know a lot of people are like, ah, she sucks. People are just saying that because she's popular, but she's very talented. You love Billie?
I have to interrupt. As
Yeah.
someone who had that mindset and legitimately did not want to like this person, you had recommended me some songs. I listened to them with an open mind, and I have to go back and admit that I was wrong. Some of them were
Mm.
actually pretty good, and I would also now recommend them. And that's from someone who really, really did not want to like Billie Eilish.
Oh, Justin, that's so nice.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
same with you and Savage Garden.
yeah, like one of my favorite Billie Eilish songs, and I guess this will be my recommendation for today, but I really love When the Party's Over. And that's actually the song I recommended to Justin. Oh my God, I'd had a breakup that just like crushed my soul. That song had just came out. I watched her music video and I felt like so connected to the emotions she was trying to like portray in that song, and so that song is really special to me because I felt like it had helped me kind of personify the feelings I was having at that time.
Because who doesn't like to listen to sad music and cry?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. All my music's real sad. It's like I do like indie music too, so maybe I'm more of like an indie music type of person, but
I
that's
feel like
me.
that's also a guilty pleasure I have.
Oh yeah, indie music or sad music.
Sad music that makes me want to cry on top of already being sad.
Oh hell, hackers. Well, Justin, what about you? I want to hear your music.
Well, as you know, my music genres are extremely broad. I typically prefer older music, anywhere from the '60s,
Ugh,
predominantly all the
good
way up.
stuff.
Yeah, predominantly all the way up into the 90s, but I definitely even love some like 30s and 40s, like definitely like, old time Fallout music, stuff like that. I love it. But predominantly 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and that can really be anything from classic country to, hair bands to grunge to just some really hardcore metal. Since you recommended kind of a sadder song, and since we're on the BioShock Infinite theme right now,
Oh my gosh,
do you
do
know it?
it.
Do you know what I'm going to recommend?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes. Will the circle be unbroken? Yep.
No, no,
What?
no.
Wait, BioShock Infinite?
Yeah.
Is there another song that they play?
Yes. Like actual music, like in game. Like at one point, they sing "Fortunate Son" by CCR.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not my
yeah, yeah.
recommendation. My favorite song is when she's having the tear to Paris, and they're playing
Yeah.
"Everybody Wants to Rule the
Oh,
World" by Tears.
oh,
So that's my recommendation. "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" by Tears for Fears.
oh, that's a good
I
one.
love that song. It's very upbeat, happy, and just good wholesome times. So yeah, so yours may be more indie. Mine are going to be all over the place.
I almost recommended uh oh gosh, it's French, but it's the
Oh, the
Gwyneth
one you sent me, the one
Pal
where she's in
yeah.
Paris.
Da, 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 da. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
I was so happy when you sent me that because I didn't know the name of that song or the artist. So when I was listening to that, I was like, wait, is that from
Oh my
Burial at
gosh.
Sea?
Oh my god, I'm
And I
so
was,
glad
I
to
was like,
help.
I was so happy.
I'm so glad to help. That's one of my favorite songs, and I always said that I want that to be at my wedding at the first dance. That's my favorite song ever.
What goals?
I know.
So, all right, yeah, I mean that pretty much wraps it up. Everybody kind of heard some great stories, some bad stories, and some funny stories. Moving forward, we're gonna kind of continue what we're doing. We're gonna keep asking each other a lot of questions. At some point, we're hoping some of you people follow us on various social media platforms, reach out to us, ask us questions, give us topics. Like I said, at some point, we're going to get around to quite a bit of those, and we're going to try to bring some guests on the podcast. We're going to have people come on, talk about things that they like, talk about more things in pop culture, video games, you name it. So other than that, that's pretty much all I got. Thanks everyone for listening. Desi, you got anything to add?
It's La Viella Rosa. Oh, that's the name of the song.
Yeah, what she said.
Oh God, I can't speak French and I probably butchered it, but that's the name of the song. Oh my God. Okay, well, yeah, no, that was fun. I can't wait
So,
for next
so,
week's
so there might,
podcast.
there might be some bonus tracks now on this Spotify.
Oh my God, I know. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do 3 songs later. I
That's
love
okay.
music.
Yeah, good music. So there would definitely be more of that.
Yeah.
We're going to try to keep a pretty current schedule with the podcast. We record them every Friday. Not exactly sure when they're all going to get put out.
Hopefully Tuesdays. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, between that and our streaming, which we also stream. Tomorrow we'll be streaming together.
Mhm.
So.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we will be streaming. Well, tomorrow we stream together on Saturdays. Just to let people know. So
I guess that is
together.
helpful because there's no telling when they'll listen to this. So yeah, typically we record podcasts on Friday. We stream together on Saturday. Now when these things get released, who knows? But at least Twitch is live.
Very true. Yeah, come join us on Twitch. We're a good time.
Yeah, same thing. You can also ask questions on Twitch, whether about Twitch or about the podcast on the Twitch. We really would like some interaction and some feedback. If you think we suck, tell us we suck. I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong, but it's whatever.
Yeah, tell us we suck. We just want something.
Talk to us.
All right, Justin. Well, I'm gonna bid everyone adieu.
All right.
All right.
Hit stop record and we'll be all right.
No, I'm really bad at this. I'm like, how do you hang up? It's like you hang up first.
Well, no, you just hit quit recording and we're gonna keep talking for a second.
No, this is really hard. I don't like. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, bye everyone.
Stop.
No.
Bye.
my
Bye.
hand's shaking. My hand's
Bye.
shaking.
You're an idiot.